Yeah, so anyways, I started going to these youth group. This is part two of my testimony. Uh, and I thought it was pretty cool. And there was a lot of cute girls there, so I was like, I like this. and But he was always talking about this Jesus guy. And I was like, Jesus. I've heard of Jesus, but I never really knew about Jesus. I don't even know the whole story. I don't know. They said youth convention's coming up, and we did some fundraisers, and I got to go. And so I went to the youth convention, and it's all these different youth groups all together in this big dome. And it was pretty cool. It was like, okay. I liked hip-hop. I liked rap, and they had contemporary, yeah. Okay, I just deal with the music, you know. Anyway, so... But then this preacher got up there, and he was the guest preacher. I can't remember his name to this day, but he was a black preacher, and I was like, oh yeah, yes, finally. So I'm around all these white people. No. But he's preaching the salvation message, which Jesus Christ walked. Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and he was really actually going through the crucifixion, where that he was just speaking in details. That he was beaten and bruised and whipped for our iniquities, and just basically going down, the whole deal. And he says, anybody want to get saved? You got to raise your hand, and say this prayer with me. And we said, dear Jesus, or dear God, we admit they were sinners, and. So it was a big emotional time. I was crying. I had this youth group, this youth leader. He was like a big football player. We called him Homie. His name was Scott Holmes. What's up, homie? And he took me down to the altar and prayed over me on the back behind. He was just standing with me, and I'm just bawling and crying. Because what happened was, as Jesus Christ came in my heart, filled it up that void that was missing. But then from then on, I started just committing to the church. And then I dragged my mom to the church. I said, Mom, you got to check this place out. And she came, and one day we're in the sanctuary, and I was like, hey, what's up, Pastor Brent? And she's like, shh, Bill, don't do that. It's okay, we can say that. And Pastor Brent comes over, hey, how you doing? Shakes my mom's hand, shakes my hand. So it was pretty cool. And basically, so that was the start of my life. And then I went through the church life, and went to Mexico. And it was a Mexico trip in called Yugo Ministries. 95 was my senior year. And basically, that's how I got my name, Suave, because we were going down Oregon, all the way down California, and I was like, yo, this is smooth. This is smooth. Everything's smooth, because this is the 90s, and smooth was the name. Yo, you smooth? And I was like, well, what's smooth mean in Spanish? Suave. And so people started calling me Suave, and that's where I got my name, Suave. This one artist named Gerardo was pretty hot that day. At the same time, MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice, and he hit a song called Rico Suave, and so that was mainly how I got to know that word, and it stuck with me. Got it on my diploma. I was like, yeah, and what else? In girls, yeah, I still had a thing for that one girl, even though everything was all messed up. Could not let go of that crush. Didn't know she was, but it was still there. And, excuse me, the demon of lust had a grip on me for a long time. And I started, even though I was going to church, I started just still flirting with sin. Just looking and wondering, and just that was the seed that was planted. It was kept growing and kept growing. It was hindering me from my walk with Christ, and so I was just doing the church thing, going through the motions. After the Mexico trip was a good experience and all that, but it was a stronghold. And people think when they're Christians that all this bad stuff goes away like a magic trick, zap. But that wasn't the case with me. Went through, so I was still going through the youth and all that, and I started learning how to use this thing here, which is a mixer board. From then on, I was doing sound for a long time. Kind of a youth leader / sound guy, working as a youth leader and all that. And